Welcome to the Turkey Hunter Podcast with me, your host, Andy Galliano. In this podcast, I share with turkey hunters just like you how to have more turkeys on your hunting property and how to have more successful turkey hunts. I teach you how to do this with tips and interviews with turkey hunting pros, wildlife management tips, and entertaining turkey hunting stories. Tune in weekly as I share proven and simple strategies to help you have more success this turkey season. Make sure to head over to www.iamturkeyhunting.com to subscribe to receive free turkey hunting tips, tactics, strategies, and product reviews. Also, please visit and like my Facebook fan page. Go to Facebook and search I Am Turkey Hunting, and also feel free to post your turkey hunting photos from this past season and let us know where and when you killed your bird. For all of you Twitter users out there, please follow me on Twitter, where my handle is @TurkeyHitman, and I will be sure to follow you back. And now, for this week's show. Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the Turkey Hunter Podcast. You are listening to episode 102. This is one of my favorites. And I am your host and the guy who woke up this morning with a sore ankle and foot. I have no earthly idea what happened. And you older listeners probably know what I'm talking about. You go to sleep feeling fine, you wake up in the morning, and something's just hurting. I guess I need to ask my wife if I happen to maybe have kicked her in the middle of the night or something. So I'm not worried about this a whole lot because I know in a couple of days I'll feel better. And we are 160 days, 11 hours, 33 minutes, and 18 seconds away from opening day of spring turkey season in Alabama, so I've got plenty of time to recover. So, do you guys ever have those weeks at work when a task or a project gets dropped on you that you weren't planning on at the time? A very big and important task or a project, one that has to be done perfectly and properly, or it can have a major effect on the operations of the organization? Well, welcome to my work week this week, where I have had that huge project get dropped on me, and I've got a week to complete it. And not only that, but I've got my normal 40 hours worth of work to do in addition to the huge project that's going to take me about 60 hours to complete. So, with all of that said, I'm going to ease out of the Turkey Hunter Podcast World Headquarters in just a few minutes and leave you guys with an oldie but a goodie, one of my favorite episodes. But before I go, I do want to give you a little something new, and I want to give you some quick news bites for you guys. I know all of you Oklahoma turkey hunters out there know this already, but those of you who live in a nearby state may not. So the Oklahoma archery fall turkey season opened Saturday, October the 1st. And this is a great opportunity for some of you guys to make some quick plans and arrangements to get in the turkey woods, perhaps before your state's fall turkey season starts. Oh me, oh my, oh. Turkey season starts Saturday in Ohio. And due to a huge cicada hatch in parts of the state, biologists are stating that this year was an excellent recruitment year for wild turkey poults. So according to an article by Dave Gulowinski on www.dispatch.com, hens in District 4 in southwest Ohio this year are averaging 4.53 poults each. That's pretty dang strong. If you compare that with what he says hens in District 2 in northwest Ohio, which is an area outside of the cicada outbreak that they had this year, each hen averaged only 1.84 poults. So you see what that extra protein a poult gets in its diet by eating insects can do to help it grow quicker and be able to weather the weather and withstand those rainy days that we get. And to further prove the point of what a difference having food for your turkeys can help do for your turkey population, the statewide average this year in Ohio is 3.64 poults per hen, and you compare that to last year, the statewide average was 2.4 poults per hen. So a little more than a 50% increase in poults per hen, and biologists are attributing a large part of that to the cicada outbreak this year. So I'm going to go down a rabbit hole for a second because You guys who listen to the show regularly probably have heard me make mention in an earlier episode that I'm a huge fan of the Andy Griffith Show. And all of these statistics make me think of one of my favorite episodes, the one where Opie gives 3 cents to the underprivileged children's fund. And if you haven't seen that episode, have never met Horatio, and want a good laugh, go to Google and search Andy Griffith Horatio. That's Horatio, Horatio. Now, if that doesn't make you laugh, then I'll give you your money back, guaranteed. You know, it's a shame they don't make TV like that these days. All right, I got to get back on track now. So, Missouri season opened this past Saturday on October 1st, and state officials are predicting a pretty tough fall season with fewer birds due to a very wet spring. They didn't have a lot of rain, according to officials, but they had a lot of days with rain. And poults cannot withstand being cold for such a long period of time. So that's really hurt the turkey population in Missouri this year. Now let's flip-flop for a second. And if you're planning a fall turkey hunt in New York, the New York Department of Environmental Conservation recommends that you try St. Lawrence County. They're saying that birds are plentiful there. So, for all you hunters in New York, you may want to look at some public land opportunities there in St. Lawrence County, and I understand there are a few. Okay, so this next little news bite that I want to give you actually has the wheels in my head turning a little bit. So you Minnesotans out there can now purchase a wild turkey critical habitat license plate. And I want to read this to you guys real quick because I'm pretty impressed with this. According to voiceofalexandria.com, the Minnesota legislature created the Critical Habitat License Plate Program in 1995 to provide additional opportunity for Minnesotans to contribute toward conservation. Motorists who purchase a Critical Habitat Plate pay a $10 initial fee plus a minimum annual contribution of $30 to the Reinvest in Minnesota, or RIM, program. Every dollar generated through the sale of the license plate is matched with private donations of cash or land. The annual $30 contribution is not tax deductible. Critical Habitat license plate revenue has generated more than $59 million to acquire or improve 22,000 acres of critical habitat and helped fund non-game wildlife research and surveys, habitat enhancement, and educational programs. So you can find more information about the program on www.mndnr.gov/plates. So I thought that program was pretty interesting. So I'm going to get political for just about 1 minute here. I've always got mixed emotions about the government being in the land business. And I like it in the respect that it opens up opportunities for more people to be able to hunt and fish and enjoy the outdoors. But I'm not a big fan of the government being in charge of really anything because I have a hard time finding or thinking of one thing that the government has taken over from private individuals where the government has actually improved it. That's not a political statement to the left or the right. That is my opinion, and that's the way I feel. So part of me says this is really a great program for more opportunities to be opened up for more people to experience the outdoors. But there again, other parts of me say, okay, the government, again, does not need to be in the land business. There are other things that the government needs to be worrying about other than land. The government has enough land as it is. They don't necessarily need any more. So I thought the program's pretty interesting. I'm going to leave it at that. For you Minnesotans that are interested in purchasing a tag, I've given you the information. You can look at that. All right, so I'm off the political soapbox. And now that you guys are up to date on what's happening in the world of wild turkeys and turkey hunting, let's jump into the meat of today's show. So here's the replay of one of my favorite hunting stories of all time. If I hadn't been there to experience this, I don't know that I would believe it. So here's my good buddy, and he's going to be mad at me for this, Yankee John with with the Texas Turkey Decoy Massacre. And I will see you guys on the other side. Well, tonight I've got on the call with us my good friend John Rowell, who lives in Virginia, my Yankee friend, as you heard in the previous episode where we talked about his Missouri turkey. And this episode, I kind of hinted around at it last on the other episode that we've hunted with some outfitters who've not been real good. This outfitter, I believe, is at the very bottom of the list of outfitters that we've hunted with. In fact, I don't even think this outfitter was an outfitter. Do you?
No. He was a deliver you to a piece of property, and here's some keys to an extra vehicle. See you later, guy. Yeah, he was.
We don't even know if he owned this place that we were hunting.
There's a good chance he did not.
Because he sure didn't act like it. He got our money. He said, "Here's the road that runs through the property. See you later." And
I'm off to town. So yeah, the Yankees back, and for any of you Southern boys that want some turkey hunting tips, you can reach me via Andy. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Whether you live in the deep south, the middle south, wherever it might be, I may be able to give you a couple pointers. But yeah, the Yankees back.
Middle South is more like Montgomery, maybe Clanton.
I was thinking maybe is Huntsville. Not.
Oh no, that's out.
Yeah,
the northern South would be like Coleman, those areas there. But yeah.
Well, that makes sense. That does make complete sense. I understand. Yeah.
Once you go north of Coleman, Alabama, you're pretty much a Yankee.
You're in Yankee town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So got my Yankee buddy back here with me, and we're going to tell the story not about the outfitter, because there is no story with the outfitter.
No, I don't.
Literally.
Do you know his name?
No.
No. I barely recall what he looked like.
I couldn't pick him out of a lineup if you showed me. And even if you gave me a lineup of people and you pointed to him and you said, "This is him," I couldn't pick him out.
He collected.
I would say
he collected our cash at the gate and said, "Drive this way. Here's an extra truck." That's what
happened.
Right? Yeah.
That's basically what happened.
He was outstanding.
And on this trip, we had a big group on this trip. There were 7 of us?
Yeah, there were a bunch of us on this trip, which, obviously adds even more pressure when everybody's trying to get a bird. But obviously, we're going down to Texas. We're going to go hunt a bunch of stupid Rios, no problem, right? I mean, whatever.
Yeah. If you believe the hunting videos that you see and the hunting shows on Outdoor Channel, going to Texas and shooting a Rio should take you no more than about 15 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where we were, and especially at that time period. I mean, this was early trips for us, and we were like, well, we're just going to go down there and we're going to walk out in the field and hit some Rios in the head with a stick.
Yeah.
I mean, that was what we were thinking, and then we drove a half mile into this property, and every turkey we saw in the field ran for its life. Like we had a Gatling gun or a 50 caliber mounted on top of that daggone truck.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the beginning of this might be a little harder than we thought.
Yeah, and it ended up being much harder than we thought, although we all did kill turkeys on the trip, and it was difficult. The turkeys at this place would fly down from the roost, hit the ground, and walk towards the property lines, gobbling the whole way, because the owner of the property was not feeding the turkeys, but all of the neighbors were feeding the turkeys. And in Texas, of course, it's legal to feed. It's also legal to hunt turkeys in the spring with a rifle. And I'm sure that this quote-unquote outfitter had several hunters there in that season, earlier in that season, who went there with rifles and taking pop shots at turkeys out in these cow pastures and out in these fields. And that's why the turkeys would just absolutely run from you when they saw a vehicle.
Those turkeys, Andy, when they saw a vehicle, would run for their lives like they've been shot at dozens of times from a truck. It was the craziest, because how many times have you seen a turkey and you're in the truck, and the worst thing you do is stop and look at them, right? Then they're going to get nervous.
Yeah.
But if you just kept going, you're just driving down the road. Those turkeys ran for their lives at the place. It was insane.
Yes, it was. Well, we had one turkey in particular that we had a couple of run-ins with in one of the, I wanted to say cow pasture, but it was actually the pasture where this gentleman kept his horses, if it was his property and his horses. Anyways, where somebody kept some horses.
And if you want to call them horses. But there are a couple of them out there that look like horses, yeah.
So this pasture was alongside the main road that you had to drive in to get to the camp house. And once you went up this road to the camp house, the road split off in other directions, and you could actually travel the road off in the other directions, and they'd take you out to the paved road that in turn you would drive back in through the main gate and this main road to go back to the camp house when it was time to eat lunch. So I think 2 days in a row, we had seen this turkey out in this horse pasture or skeleton of horse pasture at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Texas in late April is Texas hot.
Big time.
I mean, those days we were there, it was hot.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess the first day we were there, the first night it rained about 44 inches
easily
that night. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration.
No, I think it was close to 60 inches. Man, it rained.
It may have been. It may have been. But so after 2 days of hunting, I think, and I'm not bragging, but I think I was the only one that had killed a turkey.
Yeah, I think
we were there
you're right. As much as I don't want to admit it, you're right.
Yeah, I think we were there for 4 days. And the only reason I killed a turkey is because we kept going to one area where we heard a turkey gobble, but the turkey would not come. And the area was probably 50 yards from the property line. And I just had the guys drop me off there and let them go on. And I sat there and waited. And the turkey comes bebopping off the neighbor's property, eating corn. I could see the corn feeder after I shot the turkey. He came underneath the fence from the neighbor's property, and I shot him. I mean, there was no calling. There was no anything. I was sitting there waiting on this turkey because he'd been gobbling in that spot. We'd heard him gobbling there for a couple of days. So I knew he was there and he was coming back in there. So I just waited on him and he showed up. But
there goes that story about you sitting there clucking and purring and came right into you all bowed up. The truth comes out.
So anyway, we saw this turkey in this horse pasture 2 afternoons in a row, 1 o'clock. And the third day of the trip, we're all kind of sitting around the camp, and John looks at me and he says, "What time is it?" I said, "Well, it's about 12 o'clock. He said, "I'm going hunting." I said, "I know where you're going and I'm going with you." He said, "Let's go." So we loaded up in the vehicle, drove past the horse pasture, parked the vehicle out of sight, and made a beeline for the 2 trees that were outside of the horse pasture and put our stuff down there, got our decoys out, and we typically do not hunt with decoys.
Never, yeah.
But, yeah, with this being an afternoon setup, we kind of figured that we needed some decoys out there, and given the fact that for all practical purposes, we're sitting out in the wide open.
Yeah, we're on. You said there's 2 trees, but I mean, just so everybody knows, there are 2 trees.
And that is it.
No, there ain't nothing else.
And
two trees
one
and
prickly
cactus.
pear cactus.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But the cactus was a good 40 yards from us, so that was offering no cover. But yeah, so we're sitting, what would you say, maybe 10 yards from the barbed wire fence of the pasture?
Yeah, 10, 15 yards, something like that. Close, really close to where it cornered up. Yeah.
And we took the decoys and put them, like any smart hunter would do, inside the horse pasture, because that's smart.
Well, that's where they were, and yeah, at the time it felt smart for sure.
Well, it kind of did, because we didn't know where the turkey was coming from at that point in time. We just knew where we'd been seeing him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is where we put the decoys.
Yeah. There's a lot of strategy. There's a lot of strategy on that placement, but that's where they ended up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So after we get the decoys set up, what happened?
Well, so that's when all the excitement got going. So we sit down, and he said, well, we got a couple, there are 2. It was 2 hand decoys. And it was those, it's a little soft, styrofoam, squeezable, press them down decoys. Nothing fancy, not like the crazy blow-up ones you see now or any of that stuff. It's normal decoy.
For those of you that have turkey hunted for a while, I think, and I don't think they're around anymore, was it Feather Flex?
It was exactly what they were. Yeah.
Foam, just the thin foam decoys.
Yeah,
so go ahead, John.
Cheap as hell, and you could literally fold them in half, put them in your vest,
Yeah.
So we put those jokers out, and we sit down, and I look over at Andy, and it's the middle of the day, and it's hot. I mean, it's hot. And he pulls out a box call, front box call.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, I'll make some calls. All right, good deal. And he lets out a nice yelp, nice sweet yelp. Yelp, 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 yelp. Nothing happens. He goes and lights off another series. And as soon as he lights off that series, and probably, what, Andy, 70, 80 yards from us? Maybe,
Yeah.
you know? It's close.
Yeah.
And we're like, both shocked because it's 150 degrees and it's the middle of the day, right? At the same time, like, heck yeah, because it's been 2 days and nothing been happening. So this turkey gobbles, and he proceeds to continue to gobble. I mean, he is gobbling good. And while we're yelping, though, these two horses, and there was two of them in that whole damn field, right? These two horses come, not walking, running over to the corner of this horse pasture. I mean, running like they're trying to get away from the glue man. I mean, probably the fastest these horses have ran in 5 years. I mean, they were hags. They were so damn old, it was pathetic, you know? Big swayback horses. I mean, I don't even understand why you would pay to feed these things. And so they get all the way over there. And the first thing, and so this turkey's still gobbling. And Andy's still calling. And we're not calling to him like crazy, but he's calling, the turkey's still gobbling. These horses come over, and they get up to the decoys, close to the decoys. There's a cloud of dust because, you know, it's hot, dust going everywhere. And they start pouncing around their front hooves while they're looking at these turkeys. Now, I mean, I guess they're expecting these turkeys to run off, these wild turkey decoys. And this turkey continues to gobble, and this one horse reaches down and nudges the decoy with its nose. So I look over at Andy, I'm like, you know, the typical stupid question, you see this? And so this one horse is nosing the decoy. But Andy, he's not letting up. He's still calling the turkey. The turkey's still gobbling. I mean, we're in full-on hunting mode, right? And next thing you know, this one horse grabs the turkey decoy by the top of the head, like right on the top of the head, and grabs it and flips it up in the air and throws it up over top of its head, and it falls down, and he's kind of stomping around it, you know. I guess like he's trying to kill it, like he's mad at it. I don't know. And so he's going after this turkey. Well, the other horse sees his buddy and goes, well, if my buddy's going to take it out on one of these turkeys, I am too. And he grabs the other decoy and starts thrashing it. But he doesn't throw it straight up in the air. He grabs it by the head and starts shaking it left and right like a daggone dog, going crazy. I mean, going nuts. So there's a turkey flying in the air with one horse stomping on it. There's another turkey decoy. There's another turkey decoy. The other horse is down it. It's slashing it side to side like it's a lab pulling on a pull toy or something, going nuts trying to destroy it. But this turkey's still steady gobbling. And we're sitting there going, this is, you know, sitting there basically, we're not talking at this point. The turkey's close, the horses are 15 yards daggone away, and we're looking at each other like, can you believe this crap is going on? And
we're not talking because I can't breathe from laughing. I'm trying not to move, but I am watching.
And it's just
one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
It's a yard sale. I mean, like, this shit, there's stuff everywhere. And so the turkeys, the horses get done thrashing the turkey decoys, and the one horse decides to grab the steak out of the ground and eat it. But when he tries to eat it, he leans his head way back up, and the steak slides down his throat, and he starts to choke on it. So there's horses out there. There's one horse that's stomping on a decoy. There's another horse that is getting choked by a turkey decoy steak.
Quite possibly is going to die right there in front of us.
I mean, literally choking himself out. He's got it so far down his throat he can't get it back out. So, I mean, he's like freaking out, coughing and going nuts and shaking his head. And right as this is going on, this gobbler steps out in the field. Like literally, right when this horse is like trying to cough this turkey steak out of its neck, this gobbler walks out in the field in a full strut. I mean, just puffed up in a full strut. He's angry and ready to get it on. And he walks like 4 steps into the field, and he comes out a strut and looks around, and you could just see it if you were that turkey, and his head goes, what the hell is going on?
If turkeys could scream, he would have come out of the woods going, oh, yeah, I'm here, girls. I'm here, ladies. Y'all get ready. Yeah. And then,
That poor gobbler walks out there And he goes, there are dead hens everywhere, horses jumping on them, and there's another horse rearing up on its hind legs trying to cough something out of its neck. I don't know what it is. I mean, aliens landed, essentially, for this gobbler. And so he comes out, and I'll give it to him. He stayed in strut for 3-4 steps. He comes out of strut, and he's like, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. And so he proceeds to just, I mean, not a little bit. It's a Rio. They don't fly, and they're not like Eastern. They're getting. They're going to run, right? So he starts to run. And as he's running, I swing, because I got to let him get past the horses. As much as I probably should have just shot them too and put them out of their misery, I have to let them get past the horses. And I go and I shoot, and I blew the head off a cactus like nobody's business. I mean, that cactus exploded. There are cactus flying everywhere. So at this point, there's horses fleeing the scene because there's shooting going on. There's cactus flying through the air, and there's this turkey going, I have no idea what the hell's happening right now. And he took another 4 or 5 steps, and I killed him with the second shot. But that is the story of Horsey, the old turkey from Texas, that came into the
turkey massacre.
Exactly, came into the decoy massacre, yard sale, whatever you want to call it, in Texas, and was by far, thank goodness, I guess, the most exciting part of that entire trip. I only wish the other 5 guys that were with us had been there to see it in person. It was insane.
I'm telling you, if we'd had a video camera out there that day, I think every week could win America's Funniest Home Videos with that video of that hunt. It was hilarious.
Craziest thing I've ever seen. Well, listen, first off, it's the craziest hunting experience I've ever had, right? But then as far as turkey hunting goes, that's not ever going to happen again. So I got that turkey mounted, by the way, in a standing pose with a horseshoe at his feet. And he will always be known as Horsey in my house. Horsey the turkey.
Horsey.
And that was my first, as a side note, that was my first reel ever on the hunt. But that was an absolutely insane.
Did that Rio finish your Grand Slam, or did you finish it with Merriam in Wyoming?
That was my first Grand Slam with that Rio. And I don't know, still to this day, because I don't think I collected it, if that horse swallowed that steak when I started shooting, or if he actually did spit it out.
No, he spit it out. He spit it out. I do remember that. It was just insane. I mean, I guess, it just finally clicked for those horses, and they thought, these turkeys are out here every single day, and we're not putting up with it anymore. And I mean, they just absolutely charged those turkeys and then attacked the decoys.
It was absolutely nuts.
It was crazy.
It was nuts. And I'm not kidding you. That's probably the quickest those horses had moved in the last 5 years. It's like someone said charge. It was like Teddy Roosevelt was behind them on another horse going, we're going to take this hill. I mean, those jokers moved across that field and commenced to just destroy our fine decoy setup. And it was a beautiful setup.
They probably thought, well, this is our chance to finally eat something.
It could have been.
Because
that Lord knows the guy that dropped us off wasn't feeding them. I can tell you that right now.
No, and there wasn't a whole lot of grass in that field, if I remember correctly. It's more like a dust bowl.
Yeah, it was, for sure.
Yeah, so horse lovers are probably going to be angry with us for not setting those horses free.
Well, just so horse lovers, just so they know, there were no horses damaged in the process of that hunt. They were all.
That's true.
They were all. I swung well clear. No, may have done them a favor, but not. But yeah, no horses were damaged in the course of that hunt for sure.
When the shooting commenced, they got out of Dodge.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you right now, when I started shooting, they didn't run away as fast as they ran in to try and kill those decoys. Those jokers were insane.
Oh God, it was funny. And then we got back to camp and were telling the story, and people, the other guys are kind of looking at us like,
yeah,
did that really happen?
Yeah, they all thought we were full of it.
You're not going to believe this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was probably one of the most entertaining hunts that I've been on, because it was just crazy watching another animal's reaction to those decoys, and that horse choking on that decoy steak. As soon as that turkey comes out of the woods, I don't know how I was able to keep myself in check because I was dying on the inside. You know, the pressure's off of me. I've killed my turkey.
Yeah, you're done. I was laser focused.
Yes, I was not.
I wasn't really laser focused, but that's what I'll claim, that I was laser focused. I was focused on the fact that it was a show in front of us, and I didn't know what the heck was going to go on. And I'm not kidding you. Literally, that turkey doesn't really have a much of a facial expression. But when he came out and into the field and strut, if a turkey can get bug-eyed, that turkey did. That turkey was like, what is going on out here? There are decoys laying everywhere. He's like, these horses have massacred my hens.
Uh-huh. Get out of here while the getting's good.
Yeah.
While they're still chewing on the hens, I've got to get the hell out of here. Golly. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on this evening and sharing the story with us. It's just too good not to share, and we've got a lot of stories because we've been on a lot of trips and hunted a lot together. But that's got to be one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
That and Old Man Haney's turkey.
It's old man Haney. At some point, you'll have to tell the white truck story. That's pretty good one too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but I do appreciate you coming on this evening and sharing that with us. I'm looking forward to hunting with you again soon, and we'll keep banking those memories together until we get all 49 states knocked out, and Mexico and Canada as well.
Yeah. Well, this spring we'll get some more this spring. It's gonna be fun. You gotta keep staying after it. But yeah, what an awesome time. And Texas was a blast, and it is one of my favorite. I mean, it's one of my favorite, funniest hunts, and we've had some of the good ones. And we'll keep doing them, and I'm looking forward to the spring for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. And for those of you that don't have a Rio and you need one for a Grand Slam, I've got a place for you to go. You don't go to Texas to this place that we hunted.
No.
And I don't even know who the guy was that owned it.
You wouldn't even know who to tell him to go to. So yeah.
No, but I can tell him who to go to. I can't tell him who to not go to.
No, you definitely have some places to tell him to go to. This particular place. Exactly. So yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, it's getting late Yankee time. You need to go get your beauty rest.
I do, for sure.
Get ready to try to take over the world tomorrow, and I will holler at you in a few days and see you in a couple of weeks.
Yep. See you for the winter hunt, Andrew. It was good talking, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate your time.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, so that story and that hunt will never get old to me. The vision of those horses attacking our turkey decoys is forever ingrained in my mind. And I appreciate you guys letting me share the story with you again today. So that's all that I have for you guys today, but I have one favor to ask before I turn you loose in the fall turkey woods. Please do me a favor this week and go to my Facebook fan page. So go to Facebook and search I Am Turkey Hunting. And I want you to tag your favorite hunting buddy in the post for this week's show. Now that's doing me a solid favor. And, in case you don't know, the experts say that sharing a laugh with a friend is just like laughing by yourself 3.8 times. And Horatio and I certainly agree. Okay, I've got to get to work and get my work project done so I can focus on bringing you guys a new episode next week. Thank you guys very much for tuning in this week. I know that you have choices. I appreciate you spending your time with us. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Goodbye. Thanks for tuning in. You were just listening to the Turkey Hunter Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please go on over to iTunes and leave a 5-star review. And make sure to head over to www.iamturkeyhunting.com to subscribe for free turkey hunting tips, tactics, strategies, and product reviews to help you have a more successful turkey season. And stay tuned for upcoming episodes on hunting afternoon birds, how to film your hunt, and the breeding cycle of hens, as well as some guest interviews. Thanks again for listening. We know your time is valuable, and we appreciate you sharing some of it with us. See you next week.